All right, joined now by Raiders General Manager John Spytek. John, thanks for taking some time. The first one I need to ask you is this. You're making the rounds. Appreciate you coming in. What do you ask more about if this was maybe a drinking game? Maxx Crosby or Fernando Mendoza? What's the question happening? Tie?
Yeah, tie.
Tie. Yeah. Okay, it's a tie. It's a tie. Now that you've settled into this role, what did you learn from last year in an approach towards a draft? Now that you're running things into now, maybe anything you learned in that aspect to how you do maybe things differently or aspects you liked that you go, okay, this is where we hit in terms of our process of evaluating players?
I learned a lot overall. It's hard for me to pinpoint any one thing, but relying on the people around me to have influence and present good ideas and trust that those ideas are well thought out on their end and that it helps us do the right things.
Mm-hmm.
I thought we had for just the group of us in the personnel department, even though we were getting to know each other last year, I thought we did a lot of really good things and trusting each other and introducing some of the analytics into it and working in that space, which we didn't do a ton of my earlier stops. I mean, I really loved all that stuff too.
Yeah, and blending it all together, right? And the other part of it is what you do with your coaching staff. Yep. You have a new head coach in Clint Kubiak. I'm kind of curious what the early part of the process has been. How did you guys, now that you're working together, just start? What do you talk about going? Was it the players that he likes, the system? How do you start that relationship about building now this roster?
I think the cool thing, we had a long list of things we were looking for in a head coach, and one of them was the ability to evaluate. And as we did the interview process, it was cool to see like his vision being similar to mine and mine being similar to his. And so there's a comfort in that. Not that we have all the answers, but that we'll figure it out together. And he's not looking for, I got to have this. I'm just looking for good football players, and if if they can have these traits, I can move them all over the place, and I'll make it work. And because it's really a build right now. We're not going to have everything lined up. We're not going to have all the pieces that you'd ever want. He's not going to have what he had in Seattle, but it doesn't mean we don't have some damn good football players on the team that he can make come to life.
Yeah, and you certainly have those. And how do you find that balance between we're looking to build it as quickly as possible, but have to do it the smart and the right way because you want the longevity of success as well? How do you do that in terms of free agency, in terms of looking at trades at this time, and then obviously within the draft?
I think we've got to be sober with where we're at and the opportunity that we have in front of us because of that, and we want to build it the right way so we can get to where we want to be and then stay there. And so it's going to take a lot of hard work and communication between the personnel staff and the coaches, finding the right guys, having a vision for them, and then making that vision come to life.
What is the right way? Have you figured that out?
I think just constant communication, and finding players that we all believe in, that we're all excited to add. I've learned in my time, if somebody doesn't like them, usually it's probably not the best move to add that player. For whatever reason. It doesn't mean they don't go on to be a successful player somewhere else, but at the end of the day, we're just looking for the right guy to be a Raider, and that's paramount.
Okay. Well, quarterback-driven league. You have the number 1 overall pick. I heard you on the podium talking about evaluating how quarterbacks process, how they, retain information, are really high on your list.
Yeah.
In all of your time now, how have you figured out a way to learn that about a quarterback, or processes to know that they have those traits? Have you figured out a way to go about that? Because it is so hard you're smiling, it's so hard to evaluate quarterbacks.
I wouldn't say up here I've figured it out, but we've got a process that we believe in to get to where we're comfortable and excited and confident that the guy can do it the right way. And you'll never know until they get in a Raider uniform and are asked to do all the things that are asked for a quarterback. It's the hardest job in sports for a reason, and it's so far beyond throwing a football really well. I mean, it'd be easy if that was the case. And I've got a chance to be around the greatest of all time for 5 years, 6 years running now. And it's been enlightening for the things that are prioritized and how we can build it the right way. We're not expecting anybody to come in, free agent, draft, trade, that just has it all figured out at that position. But if we can be about the right things and do things the right way and have a great process, I think it takes us to where you want to go.
Yeah. I know you've been asked about Tom a lot, and you just referenced him there, so I will bring it up going, he does a lot of different things, it seems like, within your organization, and you guys lean on him because of the wealth of knowledge, specifically at the quarterback spot. How much are you guys, with the number 1 pick, kind of looking at, obviously, all the knowledge he brings in that specific aspect?
I think it's, quarterback, he's got a unique idea and philosophy around that, but it's every position. He's played around some of the greatest of all time or against some of the greats of all time. He talks about it all the time. The perfect player. There aren't very many, but these are why I like this guy, and this guy. And so, every time I'm around him, I learn something. And that's such a unique opportunity that I have.
Yeah. I'm envious of it, in all honesty. I mentioned Maxx as well. So you said on the podium, you've told us that you expect him to. He is a Raider. Has he conveyed that to you guys that he wants to be a Raider in 2026?
I'm not going to get into the discussions that Maxx have. It's just not where I want to do. I value the player, the person. That's why we gave him that contract we gave him about a year ago. And I love having him run around. I feel great when he runs out of that tunnel, and I know he's on our side.
Yeah. How healthy is he in terms of the rehab coming along?
He's doing great.
Well?
Yeah, he's doing great.
Okay, then the last one I have for you, essentially, John, appreciate the time, is what you're looking to do with this number one pick. Are you open to moving? Are you always going to listen? I would assume that's the smart thing to do as a general manager. But within the process of that pick, where are you guys at now, I guess, in the evaluation of where you stand?
We're right where we should be, and we've done a ton of homework on everybody in this draft, everybody at this combine, our college scouts, Brandon Jurgen, Brian Stark, Brandon Hunt. They've done an awesome job queuing this thing up, and we're right where we need to be. And I'll always listen. I tell my wife it's one of my superpowers. Like, I'll just always listen. And everything in this world has a price. Yeah. Everything in this world has a price. And so that doesn't mean that we're going to decide that it's whatever was offered, or if, hypothetically, if it's offered, that it's going to be enough. But we're always listening.
Love it. Appreciate it. And listen, you might have the best wife in the world. If your superpower is listening, and in terms of a marriage, we're all playing for second place here, John, in all honesty.
Yeah, well, I've learned over time to be a better listener. How about that?
Outstanding. Appreciate it.
You got it, James.
Awesome.